Which person in your small town turned out to be the most unexpectedly capable for me? It was definitely Brenda. Brenda worked the counter at the only diner in Oak Haven, a town so small the speed limit sign had cobwebs. She was stout, perpetually wore an apron stained with coffee and what looked suspiciously like gravy, and her voice was a gravelly rumble that could curdle milk. Every interaction was a gruff grunt or a sigh that clearly communicated her deep and abiding disdain for the human race, or at least for the early morning rush at the daily grind. We all just assumed Brenda was stuck, a permanent fixture of lukewarm coffee and burnt toast. First, there was the time a trucker, twice her size and twice as loud, started threatening the new kid behind the grill. Brenda, without breaking stride from wiping down the counter, just said, "Buddy, my spatula has seen more action than your entire life. Back off." The trucker blinked, looked at her, then mumbled an apology and left. We all just chalked it up to her being surprisingly intimidating for her size. A week later, a freak storm hit, knocking out power to half the county. While everyone else panicked, Brenda calmly pulled out a hand-cranked radio, found the emergency frequencies, and started giving directions to the nearest working generator based on some old ham radio knowledge she apparently had. She basically organized Oak Haven's storm response from behind that sticky counter. We were impressed, but still figured she was just a weird, resourceful woman. Then came the incident with the escaped bear from the petting zoo a few miles out. It wandered into town, terrified and aggressive. Police were a good hour away. Brenda, bless her gravy-stained apron, just locked the diner doors, grabbed a heavy-duty cast-iron skillet, and walked towards the animal. We watched through the window, frozen. She didn't try to fight it. She just stood her ground, talking to it in that same gravelly voice, not yelling, just commanding. The bear, this massive, terrified creature, actually calmed down. It sat there, watching her until the sheriff finally arrived. He couldn't believe it. Turns out, Brenda had spent a decade as a wildlife rehabilitation specialist in Alaska before Oak Haven apparently stole her soul. She'd put down a rabid wolf with a tire iron and tranquilized a moose with a dart gun made from plumbing parts. We never saw her the same way again. The next month, she just wasn't there. The diner's for sale. Word is she bought a remote cabin up in Montana, runs a small rescue for injured eagles, and occasionally communicates with park rangers via satellite phone about problematic megafauna. Last I heard, she gently dissuaded a grizzly bear from raiding a campground by singing at opera. I still can't look at a coffee mug without thinking of Brenda.